Our limited time Christmas merch is available now, so get yourself a beautiful Christmas Santa owl, gifting out presents to all the little owls, or get yourself a couple of little ones putting some lights up onto the house. Check it out in the description down below and get it before it goes away. Hello everybody, we are here with your Arachne God Guide, and you're going to want to get out of the base fairly quickly. As quickly as you can for buying your items. We're going to grab an Assassin's Blessing, a tier 1 sword going into those, and we're going to get our web first. The reason why you want to kind of get out of the base here a little bit early is you want to be able to place down your spider webs over on the blue buff. So you do have to be a little bit careful. Some people will know that you're going to throw down some spiders over on blue buff. And so if you're not careful, they will walk up and try to get rid of all those spiders and kind of ruin your start. So you just got to be a little bit careful. You should have time if you come out quick enough to go ahead and back up and utilize that bonus movement speed from the fountain. Your goal is to put down 2 spiders over on the blue buff. And then you're going to do your normal speed start because you can have 3 webs down at the same time. And you're going to go straight from speed to the harpies. You're going to use your hog on the harpies. You're going to keep your web up, and then you're going to go for a very early mid lane gank. This is why Arachne can thrive right now, is because of this quick gank. You're going to get to level 3 from the credit over there on the blue buff. And so now we've got this level 2. And now I'm going to run straight at this Morgan because she is still level 1. I hit him with my webs. I made sure I did not use them on the creeps beforehand. And then that's how you get a very quick first blood in the middle lane, which allows you to then rotate right into their red buff. We're going to pop our health potion preemptively just to make sure that we don't take too much damage. And now we're just going to head right back to mid. That is the exact start that you are looking to do on Arachne pretty much every single game that you play her. Like we mentioned, the 2 biggest problems with this start is 1, if the enemy solo laner knows you're going to do this, they may walk up and ward the blue buff and know you have a bunch of spiders there. And if they get rid of your spiders, then obviously you can't follow through with the buff, with the camp, because you're going to have to go all the way over to blue buff. And 2, if the enemy mid laner is paying attention, and they just straight up give up the mid lane clear altogether, they might sit underneath their tower and not come up at all, in which case you obviously can't just like willy-nilly dive them under tower. If that does happen, what you're going to do is you're just going to go straight for their red buff anyway. You're not going to be able to get the gank, but if they gave up mid pressure entirely, that means that your mid will be able to rotate over there. They're going to have to decide between contesting the red or getting the mid wave. Either way, that should end up being a win for you. Another thing you should pay a little bit of attention to is who their jungler is. For the most part, Arachne is going to win almost all of those early fights by the nature of her kit. But there's a couple of characters like Suki, like Thanatos, that might be able to fight back into you, so just be aware of that. A Guan Yu, not going to be able to fight into my Arachne early. As soon as we can afford a Golden Blade, we're going to back up and we're going to get a Golden Blade. This is still a crucial item on Arachne. Without Golden Blade, her farm is really lackluster after the start. Obviously, her starting farm is great because of the webs. But the second that starting farm is over, Arachne farm becomes very lackluster. Her kit is just not good at clearing the jungle. But if you get a Golden Blade, it doesn't end up mattering. So make sure you always get that Golden Blade right now as that first item. Gonna be able to walk over here and just go for this blue buff. Hercules doesn't even necessarily know that I'm here if he doesn't have this warded. And I'm just gonna start running through the enemy jungle. So get some wards out. You should be buying wards pretty much every time that you back. Be careful left. Arachne is very good at running into the enemy jungle and just stealing camps. We talked about how she's very good in that early fight in PvP. That's the reason why she can go steal these camps so easily. Because if you encounter the jungler outside of those like couple jungles that we mentioned, you just go for the fight and you take the fight and you should win the fight. And if you don't win the fight, let's say that a second person shows up, well, you can always just use your ultimate defensively. And a nice defensive ulti will probably get you out of harm's way. So right there, Morrigan's level 4, Guan Yu's level 4. I can go extremely aggressive on that, and I force out the Morrigan beads, which is going to be very helpful for me later on. So I don't mind burning my blink for a bead. That is always going to be a good trade no matter who you're on. Blink just has less efficient uses than beads does, and it's on a slightly lower cooldown as well. So the next time it comes up, I can just go super aggro onto that Morrigan. It's also going to give my Ra some lane kill opportunities as well, to put some pressure on her. The Ra's second ability with that slow, it's actually some really good kill potential just from the slow. So sometimes you need to beat that in the mid lane, and not having that beads up is a problem. So Hercules is extremely low over in right lane. He's got no mana. He's got no nothing. I'm just going to ulti right over for him. I'm waiting for him to use his active. There it is. He goes ahead and uses blink. And now I should be able to follow up and just grab this kill. Luckily with my golden blade, even with him hiding behind creeps, I'm still going to be able to get damage onto him. I'm going to go right back at his blue buff. We knew he had the timer on it beforehand. They could have a jungler over here by this point. They do not. So I should be able to grab myself a free little blue. Going for this back camp is a little greedy because my ultimate is down. While your ultimate is down on Arachne, you tend to not go super aggressive on all these back camps. But I know that the Hercules is dead, and I see the Morrigan over in mid lane. And because the Morrigan's in mid and the Hercules is dead, I feel confident that even if the Guan Yu is there, the Guan Yu by himself won't be enough to kill me. Now, a fun little tidbit that you can do on Arachne to help with knowing where people are on the map in order to get vision is you can actually use your webs as little vision mechanics. So they don't give you vision on the actual web like a AMC hive does. But if you block paths for people, you're going to be able to know when they're going through that path. So if you want to ward, let's say, top left and top right, and so you've got out the wards there, but you still want to know if somebody's around bottom right, all you have to do is you throw down something that blocks off this path, and now I will know 100% if somebody goes through there because I do have vision on my little creepies. So the web itself does not give vision, but once those little spiders spawn, those will actually give me vision, and so I can see where they're coming from. And you can have 3 webs up at any time. So assuming you're going to be using 1 for combat, that means you can use 2 of your webs in a ward-like capacity. So you can have 2 of those covering off a spot, plus you've got 2 wards in another spot. It's kind of like you've got 4 wards out onto the map, and then of course using that 3rd web for actual combat, because you're going to need that bonus movement speed for your ganks. One thing a lot of people don't know about Arachne, her kit is pretty straightforward. Nothing super complicated there, except for one tiny little facet of Arachne's kit that people don't realize. It's not that big of a deal, but you can actually pop your 1 and your 2 inside of your ulti. So if I'm in my ulti right now and I want to go kill Herc, I can pop my 1 and my 2. So right when I land on them, those are actually already popped, and I can just go straight for the kill. I would say that's the one part of Arachne's kit that people don't really realize. You don't have to land from the ulti and then pop the 1-2 and waste time kind of playing through those animations. You can actually pop those in the air and have them ready to auto the second that you land. That's like the one tricky part about her kit that people don't really know about. Everything else people basically know about from her kit. For our level order on Arachne, we are leveling up our ultimate whenever we can. The reason why we rank up our ultimate whenever we can is because this is going to be our main getaway skill, and it is going to reduce the cooldown on this ability. And so we want to get that as low as possible. Then we're going to level up our 1 to max. It's going to increase our damage. It is our sustain, our main source of PvP and PvE. Third, we're going to rank up our web. Our web is going to give us increased brutaling damage and, more importantly, increased slow duration. That slow duration is going to be what helps us catch up to people, get some kills. Finally, leveling up our 2. Our 2 we mostly just use for the stun. And while the stun does go up a little bit, it only goes up by 0.1 every time we level it up. The attack speed on this ability not nearly as crucial as the stun, and the stun only goes up a little bit. Now, another very important thing that we get to do with Arachne is we get to solo objectives. Arachne is one of the best objective soloers in the game from the jungle role, and that's because of her webs. So she throws down webs. I've got 2 already down on the floor. I'm going to drag the pyromancer through these, and then I'm going to actually back out and I'm going to reset. And so the pyromancer is going to aggro onto the little spiders instead of me, and so I can solo the objective with ease. This works on the Gold Fury as well as the pyromancer because they will run through your webs. You cannot use this strategy on the fire giant because in order to get your spiders to proc on the fire, they have to be right on top of it basically. So the only time you could really do that to have all your multiple webs out is right when the fire giant is spawning. But who wants to fight the fire giant at the 10-minute marker? That doesn't really make any sense now, does it? Hercules' driving strike is down, so I'm gonna go aggressive over here. I know he has no way to escape, so I should be able to just use all my abilities and put him down. For our build, we got ourselves a early stone cutting sword. Oh, that was actually a really good blink right there. Shouldn't end up mattering, you should still die, but that was actually a really good blink. We went golden blade into stone cutting sword. Stone cutting sword right now, very good item. There's so much tankiness in the meta, and so you want penetration. Stone cutting sword, not only is it going to give you that 30 penetration that you're reducing from your opponent, but it's also going to give you 30 physical protections, so it is kind of the best of both worlds. Now, hastened katana is not an item that you have to buy on Arachne, so if you're entirely against the hastened katana, I get it. The stats on this item kind of suck. It's probably one of the biggest reasons why I would say Arachne is not a very meta god right now. I still think that gods like Bakasura, like Arachne, really need a hastened katana. Even with the bonus movement speed that you're going to get from all these swords, even with your webs and stuff, once you start attacking, being able to not have that movement penalty is just so crazy crucial. So I would recommend getting it as a 3rd or a 4th item on Arachne. Some people don't want to buy it. If you don't want to buy the hastened, then I would go ahead and make sure you have a boot in your build. That 18% movement speed from the boot will help you catch up a little bit to some of the people that you are auto attacking instead of just having the traditional strictly swords build. Now for our 4th item, it's probably going to be our most important item in this build. We are going to be grabbing a Kind. Arachne is actually very good at getting Kin's procs out because you've got that bonus attack speed on your 2. When I pop my 2 right now, even though it's not even max, I'm going to go up to 2 attack speed. So I'm going to be able to get a lot of Kin's procs off very, very fast. Items like Stone of Gaia, Thebes, these very big HP items are being commonly built around the map. And so you want to make sure that you have a way to deal with all of this bonus HP. We've already got a bunch of pen from our stone cutting sword, and so we want to make sure that we also have a way to deal with the bonus HP. For our god matchups on Arachne, Arachne doesn't particularly love to go against other early game, like very strong junglers. We talked about Suki, who's pretty much strong throughout the entire game, and Thanatos. But anybody who's got a very good early fight is not particularly who Arachne wants to go against. The reason because of that is that Arachne's fairly snowball reliant right now. And so what you really want on her is to go against a late game jungler. Somebody that doesn't turn on until at least the 15-minute marker, you know? That really gets like a Nemesis. Nemesis is actually a great character for Arachne to go against because she's okay early game. She doesn't start to really turn on until level 9+, but that gives Arachne a lot of time to go for those fights in the early game and try to put her behind. So you're looking to go against more late game oriented characters. Another type of character that Arachne is great against is stealth characters. So these spider webs are gonna reveal stealth. So a Morrigan, a Loki, whatever, those types of characters, also very good for Arachne to go against because she has such a natural counter to stealth built into her kit with the webs. But she also is going to be building Golden Blade every game. And for a character like Morrigan who summons a decoy, even if you don't have your web on them, you're still actually going to get the AoE proc on your Golden Blade, and that AoE proc on a Morrigan decoy can very easily bring her out of stealth. Remember that if you don't want to use your ultimate as a getaway skill, you can always use your webs as a getaway skill. They do give you that little trail that you will gain bonus movement speed on, and of course at the end of the trail it will summon that spider, which will help be a deterrent for people that are chasing you. It's not the best getaway skill in the game, but that web does have versatility. So make sure you're using it for both of its applications. Good try there from the Medusa, but now I'm gonna blink at him. I'm gonna throw down my 3. This is on him. Arachne does very well into most hunters, as long as the hunters don't have AoE autos. You saw right there, the Medusa was trying to auto attack me, but because I had my web on her, she was actually just auto attacking the spiders. So for anybody that is reliant on ranged autos, but doesn't have a bunch of AoE, like a Rama is not necessarily great because he can just use astral arrows and that's gonna go through you and your creeps at the same time. But somebody like a Medusa who's only got those single target autos, way better. Somebody like Heim, he can just go ahead and use his AoE autos. Doesn't really help you out there. Somebody like a Cupid tends to have a harder time. You're looking to make the enemy force them to use abilities, right? So like if they have to use like a Cupid heart bomb on your spiders, that's a win. What you don't want is for them just to be able to use their regular old auto attacks, nothing special, to be able to kill all your spiders and be able to auto attack you. But if you can force them to use something from their kit just to get rid of your spiders, then that's already a win for your team. While ganking is important on Arachne, you should of course have your mind primarily on farm. Because you're investing in that Golden Blade, you're basically investing in a farming build. So if at any time in the game there is farm up on the map and a gank potential, I want you to take the farm first always. The gank might still be there after you're done farming, but that farm, if you don't get that timer going, you're just hurting your XP that you're gonna be getting later on. You've got to get that timer going as soon as humanly possible so you can make the most out of your Golden Blade. So I'm gonna start throwing out a little bit of webs here, start using them as a zoning tool. So I've got some webs out to the left, webs out to the middle, we've got wards out to the right. And so we've got a lot of vision right now from our wards. Plus we have all of the webs cutting everybody off. I'm gonna use my ulti just to sit in the air. I'm not necessarily gonna back out of the fight right now. I'm just trying to sit in the air and wait for an opportunity to come back down. Now that everybody's a little bit lower, I'm gonna be able to dive right back in on this and go back for the fight. So just because I use my ulti doesn't mean I have to run away. I use the ultimate and I can still stick around for our next little engagement. Now they're gonna be respawning here in 10. It's a little risky. We should go back and we should go do the fire giant. We get that Titan down to about 70% HP before they respawn, but we can get a free fire giant right here. Always make the safe play when you can. For us, we're winning this game. We're consistently winning team fights. We have a chance of throwing at the Titan. No reason to go for it. We can back up, grab ourselves this fire giant. After this fire giant, we back up, get our last couple of items, and then we shove down the mid and left lane as a team. So I'm going to be getting myself a serrated edge here at the end of the game. The main reason why we're getting serrated edge is because of the 20% physical penetration. By this point in the game, people are going to be very, very tanky. So while your stone cutting sword and its 30 flat pen is going to be awesome against squishy still, it's not going to be nearly as good against targets like Hercules, Guan Yu, etc. So you want to make sure that you have that percentage pen in your kit. As far as the rest of the item goes, it's decent. It's not great. It's not as good as it used to be. You still get some of that bonus for using your regular abilities and having them on cooldown, and that's nice. But the main reason why you're going to get this is it's just the best percent pen item for Arachne really to buy. Atalanta's bow is an option. And if you opted earlier in the game to not buy the hastened katana and you went the boots instead, then you can go ahead and grab the Atalantas here instead of the serrated edge. And that will give you the same type of effect. I'm going to focus on this Phoenix right now. Not even going to worry about the other stuff. I'm just going to keep focusing on the Phoenix. As soon as I feel like I'm about to be focused and get CC'd, I'm going to ulti right on out of there, and I'm just going to ulti back to the back line, sit by my Umoja. Waiting for an opportunity to go back in. I'm going to throw down some of my spiders. That way they can tank the tower if they need to. That way I am not aggroing the Phoenix. And now we should be able to kind of have a nice little gentle fight around the Titan. We've got so much healing with the Umoja and the Morrigan, or excuse me, with the Umoja and the Ra, that we really shouldn't be in too much trouble here. So we just got to kind of come in, poke out, come in, poke out. We need them to come engage on us outside of the Titan room preferably. So I'm trying to look for anybody that's putting themselves too far forward. I see that Morrigan on the left-hand side. I'm actually going to go in for him because I got my blink up, and now we should be able to get a couple of kills off of that. We're waiting for our creeps to push in from the left side, the right side, the middle. Titan's almost dead, so I'm going to dive in for the Titan, focus everything that I got on him, and we are going to be able to put him down. For our last item this game, we would have been getting rid of our Assassin's Blessing, and then we have a couple of options. I'm a big fan of Bloodforge on Arachne. Once you start snowballing, sometimes keeping that snowball going is very important, especially in the late stages of the game where if you have to use your ultimate to get in, then you're basically in it to win it. And so a Bloodforge proc could keep you alive. You've of course got the traditional defense items like a Mantle of Discord that could help keep you alive as well. And then you've got some situational items. Perhaps they've got a lot of healing and you need anti-heal. Toxic Blade is going to be your go-to on Arachne. She is not good at all about proccing brawlers, so don't get brawlers on here. It's going to need to be the Toxic Blade for you. Not a bad item on Arachne at all. In this game, Sylvanas, Guan Yu, Hercules, Toxic Blade probably would have been my go-to 6 item this game. Hadn't died yet, wasn't feeling like I needed defenses, so something that would give me more aggression against the enemy team would have been my go-to. And that, guys, is your Arachne jungle.